So back in the 90s when I was a kid, I used to play a lot of video games. I haven't played a video game in I think 15 years now. But when I was young, I used to play a lot. And I just remembered some of my favorite games and just wanted to share the games I used to play. I'm sure some of you would recognize these games. So the first game is SkyRoads. So this was launched in 1993 and this was developed by Blue Moon Software. And let me show you some gameplay from this game. So basically you had this plane that you had to fly and get to the finish line, and on the way you had obstacles and there was no floor, so if you fell into it you had to restart. So that was basically the game. So you could jump left and right, and then you had to jump over the obstacles. So this was the gameplay, and I used to actually love this game. I found it very interesting. It used to get quite difficult also. It might not look like right now, but as you go further in the levels and even in this current level, like you have to change directions very quickly. So overall it was quite an interesting game. So the next game is Wolfenstein 3D. I think this was very famous and most people would have actually played this game. So this was a first person shooter game and you had to basically kill the enemy. So this launched in 1992 and this was developed by ID Software. So let me show you some gameplay from it. So this was a maze and you had to go to the next level. So you could choose different weapons in the game and you had to basically kill your enemy. And if you got hurt, you had to find a medical kit to recharge yourself. And the whole gameplay is like a maze, so you don't know which door opens to what. I mean, there could be enemies behind, there could just be walls, so you have to basically go through the maze and find your way to the next level, killing people. So I'll stop here and let's go to the next one. Okay, so I am personally a racing fan, like a racing game fan, and I love racing games. I think the last game I played happily was Need for Speed, and I also played a game called Blur, which is I'll make a video on that game because I like that game a lot. But this was one of the racing games that I used to play a lot. This is called World Rally Fever, and this was launched in 1996 by a company called Split and Team 17. So let me show you some gameplay. So this was the quality of games back then. Like it's not as clear as the games that are coming out in the last 10 years, but I mean, we used to like this. We never felt that. I don't know why right now it's seeming like I can't play it, but back then I used to play it like without any problems. So here also you had to jump over these breaks, and basically you were racing against other people and against the other cars. And I especially liked this map because it had the Statue of Liberty in it, and I was that time I had never visited US, so I was very fascinated with America, and just seeing this map, I used to play this map a lot actually. Okay, let's move on to the next game. So next game is Prince of Persia. and I think this was like the most famous game back then. This came out in 1989, and this was one of the toughest games I have to say I played. I think this was quite long as well, and but overall it was such an interesting game. And let me show you some gameplay. So basically there was a prince and he had to go through this game. It was like a maze, and so you had to kill, you had sword fights in this with the enemy. So let me show you some gameplay. So like you have to jump over the breaks in the floor, and the walls and the floor could fall down as well, and then you have to pick up a sword. So this was one of the sword fights that you used to have in the game. And this is another sword fight. So it was overall very interesting. Like, I like this game a lot. Okay, the next game, and this is my favorite game from the 90s. This is like Counter-Strike, before Counter-Strike came. So this is a shooting game again, and this is called Commandos. And I used to sit on this game hours at a time just to finish this off. This came out in 1998, and it was developed by a Spanish company called Pyro Studios and published by Eidos Interactive. So like this is your character over here, and there were 3 team members in this, and you could move them around but each in like in this map itself. So 2 of them were hiding somewhere, and this is the one. And then you have this enemy, and that's where he can see. Now he can't see my character, so I run after him, and then I kill him with a knife, which is that. And then you again had to hide because you know those other soldiers can see in that green area. But if you are lying down, they can't see in the dark green area, and then you can climb the wall. And then here is the enemy right here. So basically you have to kill that. So this was like my Counter-Strike. I think Counter-Strike came in the 2000s, and I saw a lot of people who were like fans of Counter-Strike. I was a fan of Commandos. My favorite game, man. I used to just love this game. So the next game is Road Rash. I'm pretty sure if people have not played it, they would have at least heard its name. And this was released in 1996. And this is basically a motorcycle racing game, but you had weapons with you. So you could hit other people and overtake them. You could also hit the police and overtake them. So it was quite funny and interesting at the same time. And let me show you some gameplay of this. So this was the starting of the game. They had this and all these characters in the back. I found them very interesting. And so this is your character on the bike, and then you can basically kick them out of this game. And you also had weapons in this, so you will see those. So you could also punch them, kick them. Let me show you with the police actually. So if you fell down, you have to pick yourself back up. Yeah, so this was the gameplay, so I'll stop it here. Okay, so this is the last in the series. So this was again one of my favorite games. This was called AMOK, and this was launched in 1996. And this was also a one-person, first-person shooting game. But in this, you were sitting in a mechanical robot or a machine of a kind, and you had to kill other, and you had to basically kill your enemies. So let's see some gameplay of the game. So you were basically this gigantic robot, and you could shoot your enemies. So on the map you could see like there are red dots which are the enemies, and you had that effect. You could blow things up. There was a crater. So this was also quite different from the other games I played because of, I think, the geography and the design that this game has. It was quite dark, as you can see, so it had a darker theme to it. But I quite liked this game. I used to play this a lot as well. This also had an underwater level, so that was quite interesting to play too. So yeah, these were some of the games I used to play in the 90s, and I just wanted to share them with you. I just remembered them very recently, so I thought it's a good video idea as well. And it would be good to connect with other people who played these games. So yeah, that's it for this video.